So the Jays get smoked yesterday. Kikuchi was just throwing BP. Sucks.
That's a weird start because he had 7 strikeouts too, and he started the game off. You're like, oh, this is good Kikuchi, and then we'll blam.
Yeah, but he was throwing some meatballs too.
Yes?
Yeah, he was mixing in some awful pitches.
Yeah?
Yeah. I got to tell you, the Hap parallel for me is just looming where I'm terrified of it.
Oh, the trade for the nothing?
It's just having a starter that is on an expiring deal, who has no team control, that the market is going, we need to get something for this. We need it. This is our cow. This is our cash cow. And the team giving you the magic beans and going, well, he did have a couple of bad starts. That's what I'm saying. It's just, he's a fine player 100 years later.
Yeah.
And then your boy, Billy McKinney, who stiffed us on opening day.
Imagine.
Yeah, I know.
Yeah, it's stiffed by Billy McKinney.
Yeah, it was us.
Oh my God.
That's the kind of cachet we have. They were like, we can get you Billy McKinney, sit down live. And we went, we'll take it. We'll take it because we have no
what a dream.
Pride.
Okay, so the episode of Seinfeld, Jerry gets heckled and then he goes to her office and heckles her. Like, how amazing would it be if like Billy McKinney's like, hey guys, I've started a new business venture. Like,
I've started a new podcast. You have any advice?
I mean, it would be the dream of all dreams to say, thanks, Billy, we're good.
Well, the best part was that you had defended him for so long in the trade. You went, this guy, this is a piece. This could be a real thing. You bought a lot of Billy McKinney stock because, you're often wrong with baseball. So it made sense, kind of. But ultimately, that was the case. Anyway, I want to tell you some quick things. I saw Avery Chenier. He posted a tweet yesterday that I wanted to read you if you weren't aware of it. Vlad Jr. doesn't have an extra base hit against a 4-seam fastball this season. He's seen 363 of them.
That sounds right.
He's also leading all-star votes in first base.
He also leads in Fangraphs WAR amongst American League first basemen.
Yeah. This is such a weird season to evaluate.
It's bizarre.
Yeah.
As we were having a conversation earlier today about, so Rafael Devers is in town. He's like unquestionably so much better than Vlad, right? Like we can all agree, like we'll all shake hands. Rafael Devers, much better than Vladimir Guerrero Jr. Way more consistent, right? And the overall career numbers are very similar, though. A lot of it on the strength of the 2021 season for Vlad. No, but Rafael Devers has like 4 seasons where he's finished top 20 in American League MVP voting.
These are his last 4 seasons in terms of OPS: 890, 879, 851, and currently right now he's 929.
Yep. He also plays in a better offensive environment, so like OPS plus takes that into account. And for his career, Vlad has a higher OPS plus than Rafael Devers.
Where are we with lineup protection these days? Because it's infuriating.
Same place.
We did that thing on Teoscar Hernandez, and I saw all these people in the comments going, look at where he hits. And I went, do you really think if Vladdy was in that lineup, all of a sudden he would be hitting as many home runs as Teoscar?
No.
Bo? Bo, here's the thing. Bo might get traded to the Dodgers. His numbers are going to go up because here's my real Bo take. I think he hates it here. I think he wants out. I think he's beaten down by the run here, and that is actually impacting his performance. I genuinely think he is the ultimate I need to change the scenery guy, and he is just – I don't think he checks out because he's a winner, he's a gamer, all these different things, but man, oh man, I watch this guy, and he looks miserable.
I think he's always going to look miserable, though. That's the thing. It's like, what do you want? Do you want the Vlad? Like, he's always happy and throwing water all over people? Or do you want the, like, super serious, like, every second of the day I'm thinking about baseball and how to get better? I think it depends on how the team's performing. If they're performing well, you like the happy-go-lucky guy, and you're like, hey, bummer, man. Like, let's put a smile on your face. But, I think he's going to be that way wherever he goes forever and ever and ever. He's just super driven, and he's not a super fun-loving guy on the baseball field.
Yeah. So Blair wrote a column yesterday. Yes. Okay, good. I read it yesterday. I want to make sure it was from yesterday. Well, it had to be because it was after the Mookie Betts injury. So I'm pretty stupid because I actually watched that Mookie Betts injury live. So for me to not know that it was written yesterday actually proves unequivocally. If you've ever wondered, am I dumb? There it is. There it is, folks. I just gave it to you right there.
Good thing nobody was ever. That point was never like a point of discussion. Any back and forth. Like people were pretty set.
Yeah, that's true. You know what? I had nothing to lose.
Yep.
It's nice. It's freeing, actually. So Blair wrote a column, is Bo Bichette the Dodgers' solution to moving Mookie Betts off shortstop? Mookie Betts, if you didn't see, he got hit with a fastball in the hand. It doesn't look like he's going to be back anytime soon. The Dodgers, if you haven't heard, they like trying to win. They go, we would like to win, and they will spend a lot of money to do it someday. Not now. They're not spending that money now, but someday they will spend a lot of money for trying to win. Like when we're all dead. When we're all dead, they're going to spend so much money, it's going to break your brain.
Yeah, when it's a wasteland because of like the nuclear apocalypse. Yeah, that's when all the money will go to Shohei Ohtani's estate.
So Bo is hurt right now, right? Or something's up.
Yeah, he's a nagging injury.
He's also having a season where, in Baseball Reference, he has a negative WAR right now.
Yeah, that makes sense.
I don't think he's been very good at short. I have no bat.
What do you mean? Oh, you haven't looked at the defensive numbers? Are horrible for him.
Here's the thing. Here's something you should know about me. I don't ever really look at the defensive numbers. I never do. I'm always like, I can see a baseball game and I can use my eyes to kind of evaluate this.
Yeah, but you can evaluate him, but can you, because baseball is this everyday sport, you can't evaluate him against other shortstops, right? On an everyday basis.
Sure, yeah, that's fair. He's been
horrible.
Fair. That's very fair.
He's been horrible in comparison to everybody else.
I'm just saying, I watch a guy like Dalton Varsho and the balls hit around him, and I go, he's going to get there.
Yeah,
or even the play he had yesterday that he didn't make, which is the ball. It's a foul ball, and he's trying to climb the wall like Spider-Man and make it. And I went, you should have had that, right? Or when you're Kevin Kiermaier and he bobbles a ball for a split second, I'm like, wow, you're washed. You would never do that. That's your whole thing. You're a defensive player. Anyway, my point is that I think a lot of people would look at the Bo Bichette situation and go, well, you can't trade him now. He's having a horrible season. You're trading low. And my argument is actually, no, you have to trade him now because it can only actually go lower. If with there's being less control or another injury or these results continue further into the rest of, this season, which I don't think you can rule out. I don't know what a Bo Bichette trade or contract extension looks like. I asked Robert Murray a couple of weeks ago, hey, what does a Bo extension look like? And he answered, it's actually the hardest question to pin down in all of Major League Baseball's contract extension questions right now. We all know Juan Soto is going to command megabucks, right? We don't really know where Bo fits in terms of the ecosystem of salaries and what he's going to be willing to command. So I just think that now with the Mookie Betts injury, them being a clear suitor, also Cleveland being a clear suitor, having two teams to basically bounce him off of, have the promise of it, have the season he's having the understanding of just where this roster is at, and boy, oh boy, it's a bad team. Now is unequivocally the time to trade Bo. Blair's conclusion was actually no trading Bo, try to take one more run at the extension. I'm not there. I'm trade Bo time.
So am I.
Okay.
The circumstances present themselves on both sides of the equation, because you're right to say that at least now, if you're the Dodgers, you're Bo's having a bad season, but you can point to 2022 and say that we've seen this before. It's actually in 2022, it started normalizing a little bit more than it has for Bo at this point. Still of the belief that he's going to salvage the season because the underlying numbers are pretty similar, and it's early in counts. Chris Black did a good deep dive on the early in count pitch selection that Bo's swinging at. I think he's going to be an above average offensive player. The defense is weird because he's also had tough defensive starts. It's a tough position, obviously, but he's shown the ability to play it at an average level. This Blue Jays team stinks. There's no two ways about it. I mean, the Red Sox feel like the 27 Yankees when they arrive and they have their plus run differential and their top 5 in every pitching metric and top 10 in every hitting metric, and their average age of their offensive players is also top 5, and they have a better farm system, and they're better suited to one day make a run at the top 2 teams in this division than you are. There's just no debate from a Blue Jays perspective that this is the time if you have a suitor for Bo Bichette. Not only do you have a suitor, you have the suitor. The team that they won a championship, they won them and the Lakers shaking hands.
They got to be more desperate now because they can't fumble these championship runs, right?
They've got.
You're in for a penny, you're in for a pound.
Shohei Ohtani, Freddie Freeman, Mookie Betts, they're not 22 years old.
No,
this is you expect to have close to a half-decade run, but it might be 1, 2, 3 years where those guys are performing at the level at which they're performing right now. Teoscar Hernandez isn't on a long-term deal. I mean, they've got some guys that have injury history that are performing for them as well. No, they're under the gun. They got to do it. And there's a couple of teams that you want to trade with here. It's the teams that make good draft picks. Like the Blue Jays, thankfully, can't trade with themselves. They're good. Like they can't trade one of these guys to the Blue Jays where they get one of the Blue Jays prospects because they're all no good.
Yeah.
They can trade with the teams that have good trade or draft track records. That's the Orioles. That's the Dodgers. Despite all the wins, they have an incredible farm system, top 10 in baseball.
I've repeated this over and over and over again, and I do. I feel like I was the only show doing this for a very long time of over and over and over again trying to illustrate how bad the farm system was throughout the past summer when people were looking at the Jays as like a trade candidate making a splash, when there was the Soto stuff out there and going, guys, like this isn't a reality for these guys. I brought on multiple guests going, this is bad. To me, that is Atkins and Shapiro. They've made some good trades, right? Even the one that looked like the worst trade ever, the Varsho trade. Again, I'm stand on that last year being an absolute nightmare. It's starting to trend in the right direction. It's looking like a fine trade now, like moving forward.
Yep.
They've made some great signings.
Yeah,
IKF, the pitchers, man, Robbie Ray, that trade getting him and knowing also when to walk away from Robbie Ray and then signing Kevin Gossman and even the Kikuchi signing. Like they've had some
Barrios trade and then extension.
Dude, Jimmy Garcia, we were like, who the hell is Jimmy Garcia? And now you lose him this year and you're going, oh, well, there goes all the outs.
Chad Green, same thing. Like the creative contract they signed him to.
They have not drafted a lick.
No.
They have, Nate, tell me the pitcher that they've drafted and developed that's had success.
Well, Alec Manoah for a time.
That's correct. They had one guy who had some success.
Yeah.
That's it.
Yeah.
That's it. Romano was a draft pick from the previous regime, so you could say, like, hey, they helped develop him.
Yeah. And also was not on the Blue Jays for a while there.
I'm just saying, the next best guy, you know who it is? Nate Pearson.
Yeah.
Nate Pearson, a guy who we all consider to be what? A bust.
Middle reliever.
So that's what they've done with pitchers over the course of 8 years in terms of development is a good year and a half of Manoah and a middle reliever, and they didn't blow it with Romano. Those are the best you can do in terms of development. Who are the bats?
Davis Schneider.
Sure, okay. Yeah, but I'm just who's
No, I mean you
regressing into the basement, even though he hit a home run yesterday.
No, Davis Schneider is an above average offensive player.
All right, yeah, okay. I'm just saying.
Oh my God.
I
you know
think
what?
he is too.
I actually
But
you just tapped into something I'm terrified about. That like this guy is like still some people are litigating what he is as a major league player.
Just seen a lot lately of not looking great. Anyway, I'm just saying, like, sure, above average, like slightly. I think.
But I mean, you get credit, but you don't get credit for a guy that's drafted that late too, right? It's like, if you liked him so much, why didn't you draft him earlier? And why didn't you call him up earlier? And why didn't you give him more of a runway to be an everyday player earlier? Like you obviously didn't believe in him. Same with Spencer Horwitz. Like, you get credit, but you don't get credit. And Aurelvis Martinez, you're terrified to call up, and Addison Barger's up, and I think the jury's out on him.
Anyways, where I'm going with this, though, ultimately is, this is the main reason you need to get rid of, you can say get rid of Atkins, right? Don't let him make the trade with the Dodgers. But the thing that terrifies me is that there's an infrastructure there that has done so poorly with prospects that you're making a prospect trade for Bo Bichette. The guys evaluating who's coming in are the guys that have evaluated this farm system into this place. So forgive me if I'm a little nervous because the Dodgers are apparently offering Gavin Lux to everyone, according to Blair, and that's been out there for a while.
They should.
Yeah, because guess what? He's got a career OPS of 682 over the course of 5 seasons.
Yeah.
So, I don't think any Blue Jays fan is thrilled with the idea of bringing in Gavin Lux. You're familiar with his name because he plays for the Dodgers, right? So, that's
he was once their prize prospect.
Yeah, and also, hey, here's a little other thing about Gavin Lux. They went out and got Kevin Biggio going, well, we could probably get Kevin Lux-esque numbers from Kevin Biggio. So if you're a Blue Jays fan, you're into trading Bo Bichette for Biggio prospects, then that should excite you. But I'm not. What you need to be doing is trying to maximize the prospect return. But I'm, again, simultaneously extremely nervous because I don't think people go, Atkins can't be the one that makes the trade. Atkins can't be the one to make the trade. I agree. But I'm like, they're not clearing out all the guys that made this farm system in time. And so I guess I'm speaking out of both sides of my mouth where I'm like, is it actually smarter to clean house during the offseason, bring in a whole set of new guys, and then be like, yo, you got to go get better. Who do you think guys think are good prospects? Because clearly the guys here have zero clue what's going on. Like these guys literally, they got no idea. They are the maybe the worst evaluators in all of baseball. Like I'd be hard pressed to see anyone who has done worse over this stretch of time, like there's zero chance that any team has done as poorly as the Jays over this run.
Yeah, but if you're looking at trading Bo Bichette, the return obviously is going to be different. I mean, multiple fold, but this is the time right now.
No, I know. You have to do it. I know.
Like, they're so desperate for a shortstop that Mookie Betts is playing there for the first time in his professional life and then shatters his hand, might not be back at all this season. And if he is, like maybe the end of the season, playoff run, they're in it to win it. You have a solution for them, and they can like overlook the defense and the bad start because they're so desperate and they can see the upside. I think you have to eat it. If you're not firing a GM in season, you just have to eat it and let Ross Atkins make the trade, because this is the time. We're building to the time. This is it.
I agree with you. It's just you're in such you're between rock and a hard place with this. You got the guys making a prospect trade that don't know anything about prospects, and you're trading away Bo Bichette.
They sometimes know when to trade them away, and maybe this is less true about Gabriel Moreno, but like Austin Martin, they kind of figured that one out, that he's no prize.
Took him.
Yeah. But only fifth overall.
I know, that's what I mean. Is like people love pointing that one out. Like they're like, they got off of him. I'm like, they didn't need to get him. They could have gotten a different guy.
Yeah.
Oh. Anyway, so that's that. Oh, yeah, here's my final Blue Jays question for you. Is the bullpen now worse? Because I think one of the actual strongest cases for, you can't even try to pretend to tread 500 anymore, is that the bullpen is in such tatters. And they said Jimmy's going to be back soon, that they're only going to miss 6 games. But with the state of him and Romano and the fact that, like, you don't really want to rush these guys, especially given that Jimmy Garcia is one of your most prized trade assets, I think the bullpen has kind of gotten to the point where you go, you almost gotta shut this down. Like Tim Mays is unplayable.
Yep.
Swanson's unplayable.
Brandon Little's the new lefty. Like
I know.
We're hoping that he's Tim Mays.
I can't even remember the name of the guy. He came in. I actually checked in on the Blue Jays last night in the 8th inning, even though it was an NBA Finals because it was such a sleeper. I went, are you guy?
Yeah, no, he's like, I throw 91.
Are you one of our new guys? Because the bullpen's so bad.
No.
So is this the worst bullpen of their iteration?
Come on. 2021, they had Trent Thornton pitching in leverage. Like Trent.
Right now, Nate Pearson is your
sure, but
closer.
Okay, listen. Let's not go nuts and compare Nate Pearson to Trent Thornton. Trent freaking Thornton.
Trent's still in the league, bro.
Yeah, he sure is. And he's not like as much as Nate Pearson hasn't been leverage all the time. Like he'll still have a Nate Pearson outing where you're like, okay, it's in him.
I only do this out of love because he's my guy and he writes a ton of great stuff. But I'll never forget our boy Arden Zwilling writing that Trent Thornton is awesome article, being like, everybody's an idiot who thinks you think Trent Thornton's a bum? Like, I'll tell you what. And it was like, all right.
I don't think he was a bum. Yeah. Like he was like his best shot at not being a bum was being that guy, that 5th starter guy that like hopes to give you a 4.5 ERA, getting you through 5-6 innings every time through the rotation. Anyways, 2021 was so bad. And Trevor Richards has turned into a real guy. But like Adam Simber, you're like, oh my God, what manna from heaven. And this is like, again, like no offense to Adam Simber. He was good.
He came in and was awesome.
Yeah, he was good. But no, that 2020, and it wasn't just that they were bad. It's like, okay, this bullpen is bad. But there's few games where the Blue Jays are leading because they don't score runs and they don't give it. Yeah, it's hard to tell. It's like, they're bad. Who knows?
Yeah, who knows?
We don't score.
When they're getting blown out by the Red Sox, you're like, no, we're only putting these guys in here because we're getting blown out.
No, 2021, they had the Vlad season. That was one of the best offenses we've ever seen.
That's
and they
crazy.
couldn't win a baseball game because it was Trent Thornton protecting a 1-run lead.
Ooh, boy. Either way, it's, your best 2 trade assets, one right now on the IL, the other one is just gave up a ton of home runs to the Red Sox.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, he struck out some people.
Yeah, he got some strikeouts, there's no doubt about it. Yeah. You got the management team that put this group together in charge of breaking this group apart. There's even fear that they won't even do that because baseball is sort of ruined. That's the sneak. I watched Moneyball the other night. Stayed in, watched Moneyball, and they're like, man, chasing the playoffs was such a thing, trying to get 93 wins. Now it's like, who cares? Playoffs are nothing.
Absolutely.
Baseball, you talk about sports ruining themselves. Baseball adding the extra playoff teams has got to be the all-time fumbling of the bag, stupid thing in terms of making your sport go from feeling special to this. Like, yeah. Woo, you made the playoffs. Wow. Guess what? Everyone does. Anyways, we'll see you tomorrow. Subscribe to the podcast, 5 stars. Talk to you then.